excited to see you, to meet you. But I first got to know, how is Cleveland treating you? Are you having a good time so far?
Yeah, I mean, I landed like an hour ago.
Okay, so you've seen the airport, which is good,
yeah.
Easy traffic. We tried to clear the way for you, make sure you got here quickly. Excellent, I'm glad things are working out. Man, I gotta tell you, we are super excited about all the things that you're doing. We're gonna jump right into it because Daredevil, Born Again, is amazing. So, I think it's safe to say that for some actors, you know, there are some roles that you play, and then there are some roles that you make. And your portrayal as Matt Murdock, you make that one. It is absolutely all you. Did you know at the beginning of this that this was going to be such a big opportunity for you to align yourself with such an iconic character?
First of all, thank you.
Of course.
Horrified by comments. Look, I have to, from the get-go with this, the writing has been spectacular. You know, and so they over 10 years ago, they asked me to audition, which I did, but you know, I got like fake sides.
Right.
So, and then when they knew that they were kind of interested in me, I don't know how many people they were interested in, but when I was one of the guys they were interested in, I got to go to Disney in London.
Oh.
And I got to read the first 2 scripts.
Okay.
And at this point, I didn't know what I was, and also I didn't grow up reading comic books, so I really had no idea.
Fair.
And I sat in a room with 2 guys watching me read the scripts. I don't know why they needed to.
They needed to, just to make sure.
In case I suddenly took them out. You know? And I sat down and read these 2 scripts, and I walked out of there, and I was nervous.
Wow.
Because I was like, oh, I really like this. This is really impressive.
Yes.
And those first 2 scripts by Drew Goddard were, you know, they just felt different.
Of course.
They just felt different. You know, you read, as an actor, if you're lucky, you know, you read a lot of scripts, and a lot of bad ones.
Happens.
And a lot of good ones.
Yes.
You read a lot of bad ones, I just remember thinking this has the potential to be sensational.
Absolutely. Now, were these 2 scripts like in order, like the first 2 episodes?
Yeah, it was 1 and 2. Yeah, so it was the first 2 episodes of the first season, and you know, we shot them verbatim. They are awesome. Exactly what was written, including that one shot. He wrote the one shot.
So okay, what did it say in that? Like just one long epic scene of Matt kicking ass. Like what was the description of that?
It just said. I think it said something like, because it's at the end of episode 2,
right?
And I think it said. Sorry, I don't want to alienate these people over here.
No, I got you.
I think it said. There was like a bold note that said at the top of it, everything that happens now happens in one single take.
Oh my gosh.
And then it described the guys coming out with a tray and giving the food, and the voice, and yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. And then, you know, Phil Silvera and Chris Brewster, my stunt double, you know, turned it into what it is.
Absolutely brilliant. Like literally you could watch that and just feel motivated to work out yourself.
And from that has been born this horrible pressure that we know.
I mean, listen,
every season.
You did it so well. It was a signature. We needed it. Like,
and then there's a one take which I'm very proud of in season 3, which is in the prison, which is very long. Right? But that when Eric Olson wrote that, he wrote, you know, what happens now, and you know, it takes place in one take. And then I'm reading the scene, and I think, oh, there's he forgot to put where it ends. And because I'm still reading, I'm like, oh, I wonder where that ended. And then eventually, it's like the one take ends. I'm like, well, it's like 14 pages.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was pretty cool.
We thank him and you for that. I think one of the cool things about Daredevil is the dichotomies that make up the character.
Yeah.
He's a blind man who sees better than everyone. He's a devil trying to do good. He's a lawyer who breaks the law. What's the secret to playing a character with such a delicate balance of intentions? I know, you just landed. I'm sorry. I thought you had a nap before this. That's my bad.
Again, you can't, and none of this is possible without the tremendous writing.
Of course.
So my job really is to just interpret that and, you know, bring in, you know, I read a lot of Daredevil comics and continue to read a lot of Daredevil comics, try to bring the essence of how he's been written over, you know, however many decades, 8 decades.
Yes.
I remember thinking early on that with superheroes in general, the danger is that you know, superheroes are such a force for good, and there's so much positivity in general, and there's so, you know, they are a beacon of hope, and morally always kind of transcend what it is to be human and themselves and things like that. And I remember thinking that's really important, but it's also potentially dangerous in terms of characterization, because I'm not sure that we relate to people like that. I know that I really relate to people's struggles as a human, and to triumphs over difficulties and adversity and stuff like that. So I felt with Matt, it was really important to accentuate the elements that you wouldn't associate with a superhero, knowing that in the writing and in his actions, there will be enough of the kind of the superhero-ness in those things. So I've also, like, it's always fun to play. Like, I like it when Matt loses his temper.
Yes.
You know, I like it when he isn't his best self in front of Karen, or Foggy or something like that. I like the idea that people see what he does and think, wow, he's fearless, he's the man without fear. But actually he feels grateful. And what makes him a superhero is that he feels the fear and he does it anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that was exhibited best in that first episode of Born Again, where we see him go to a place that he has fought his hardest to deny himself, but was honest in his actions. I don't want to spoil it. In the first episode, where of Born Again.
Of Born Again.
Born Again.
Yeah.
Born Again. Where you see, no, I'm just going to say it. If you didn't watch it, this is your fault.
You've had 3 weeks.
Yeah, literally. Bullseye does the unthinkable. And you see Matt trying to, you know, hold it down, hold his own, but when that time comes, that last heartbeat beats, Matt turns, and you see it. It's one where it's like, I know I shouldn't do this, but you killed my friend. And he becomes such a real person.
What happens?
Huh? You've had 3 weeks. You haven't seen that. But no, when he does what he does with Bullseye, I'll be nice. We understood. And it was still magical where you're still like, you know what, I still want him to be Daredevil. It's not that it washed it away of all the good that he had ever done, but we understood why he went beyond his line of what, you know, he had been preaching this entire time.
Yeah.
I loved it, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah. You know, my first sit down with Dario.
Yeah.
Scarlet Payne, who's our showrunner, who was brought in after the strikes to massage what we had, and just to be clear, a lot of what we shot pre-strikes with our original showrunners and producers who did a wonderful job, Chris. A lot of that material is in this show, including the scene that a lot of people have talked to me about today with John Bernthal from episode 4.
Such a good one.
When I sat with Dario when we were coming back to start up, and he's going in to write this new season, these new episodes, he pitched me that scene with Bullseye, and we were chatting about it, and what came out of that conversation was the idea that all throughout the scene, he's hearing the heartbeat.
Yes.
So that came out of our first conversation. And I remember, like, as we were saying goodbye to each other, we were like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, no, it's so good.
That's
so good. Oh my God. Okay, so there was kind of like this often one, not sure if it was or was not a part of the official MCU when Daredevil was part of the Netflix series, but now you absolutely are. I think that was solidified with Spider-Man No Way Home. And, but being in the MCU, the interesting thing is, like, Tony Stark kind of kicked off everything. You know, Robert Downey Jr. did such a great job, but he only clocked like 13 hours as Iron Man, and you've got over 30 hours as Daredevil. So I think, can we make the argument that you're the anchor being of the MCU? Can we just go ahead?
Those are 13 pretty strong hours.
Yeah, they're strong. They're strong. I'm not, you know, come on.
Also, is it 30?
You had 34, which is the Netflix series.
I think I had more.
Oh, you definitely had more.
No, but I had more than Netflix even.
I think so. Like, I think it was.
I think you've undersold me here.
No. I said more than 30. I said more than 30.
9 plus defenders.
Right? That's what. So
we're into the 40s.
Anchor B. Way more important than Tony Stark. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Listen, that's humble. That's the Catholic of Matt Murdock right there. He's like, I can't. But yes, but no, I can't say that. I love it. Daredevil is one of the best fighters in Marvel Comics. Is there someone that you've had a lot of fun as a character fighting against, or someone that you want to go up against that you haven't yet?
What I love that they try to do with the show, and again, a lot of credit to the writers and also Phil Silvera, but also, you know, like I had a lot of input in this as well, is I love when we really focus on things that are specific to the characters in terms of how they engage in combat. So with Daredevil, with Matt, I'm always looking for a moment for what we call a no-look punch or a no-look kick.
Of course.
Something that can happen. And I was in a stunt rehearsal last night, and there was an opportunity where he turns and hits someone, and I was like, he doesn't need to turn. This is those moments, you know.
Yes.
So it's a very specific thing to someone like to Daredevil. The scene in the beginning of this new season with Bullseye, and a lot of the scenes we've had in the past with him, what's so fun about those scenes is Matt's trying to do everything in his power to lessen the proximity,
yes,
to get as close as possible to him, because he is so lethal at distance. And he's trying to get distance because he, you know, in hand-to-hand combat he can't compete.
Right.
But when there's distance, especially when there's objects,
yes,
you know, it's a very tricky fight. So anything with the fights, especially in a show like this where we do so many,
right,
it's a really important that it's not just action for action's sake, that it is that it's textured, you know, and that it is. It feels specific to the moment, and when it can be emotional as well, great, you know. So yeah, it's really fun stuff.
And I do think that the physicality of it is one of the best parts, because you as an actor, you create these characters that we think and believe are so true and real, and then you do things that are beyond true and real, and we still believe that as well. It is magic to see you at play, and I know that you did give a shout out to your stunt team, but you take a lot of credit, or should take a lot of credit, for those performances as well, because it's all part of that whole believability stuff that you give to us. So thank you for that.
Thank you. That's cool.
And I gotta blame you for my kids jumping on the couch, because I think they can do that. Born Again is one of those comics that kind of elevated the medium to a space that it wasn't just for kids. This wasn't just, you know, kid material. This was true literature. Do you think that this show is aiming to do that for the MCU? There's a lot of things that are very kid-friendly, very, you know, blockbuster movie-esque, but this is a little bit more grounded, a little bit more heavy. Do you feel like that's kind of your goal with this show?
I think that's something we learnt. I think something that was learnt when we made the Netflix show was that there are certain characters that just exist better in a more mature tone.
Sure.
And I think Daredevil is one of them. Even if you go back to the comics, there are some wonderful comic runs that are very kind of PG and lighthearted and fun, and there's a lot of levity in them. But I don't think that they can compare to the really kind of the Bendis Believe, the Born Again, the Man Without Fear, the Guardian Devils, all of them. The character just thrives in that space. So Drew Goddard knew that, Stephen DeKnight knew that. Netflix, Marvel allowed us to lean into it.
Love it.
And then the other thing we learned is that I think the fear in the past has been that you're going to alienate such a large portion. How can you make a bit of superhero content that children can't watch?
Right.
But what we learned is that there are a lot of adult kids.
Yes, there are. Yes, there are.
You know, and there's a lot of people who love this character, who grew up with this character, and they want to see something that's for them and not dulled down too much. When the show came out, the first season came out.
Right.
One of my best friends is a huge comic book fan, and he really has responded well to the show. And
Awesome.
So I was interested to know why. I wanted to know why, because again, I didn't grow up with it, and I filmed it. I was too close to it. And he pointed to that moment in the first episode after he subdued one of the guys at the dock.
Okay.
It's right at the very beginning. And for me, that was just a cool action sequence. And it was brutal, but it was just a cool action sequence. But I remember him saying, I've never seen a superhero keep punching me when they're down. And for him, he liked that. And I think what we've learned is there's some sick people out there who really like
You say sick, I say interested. That's all.